Men's mom is it's back to the old white man.
Navy Week. Navy Week. From today until the 20th. 4/20, that's Sunday.
Pineapple? They were hot this morning when I picked them up. Papa want a pineapple?
Just say me half.
What the hell?
Cinda.
Snooze you lose.
It's all about food. Brought to you by Local Delight. Behind the gas station at the third and northernmost roundabout. Across the street from the AOP, Alofa office building. Now you owe me. So, yeah.
What's up, West Side?
West Side Cab. For those of you in the West Side, that's your trusted brand. Those of you from the West Side want to travel east or north or south to Vaitoji, come check out the boardwalk at Vaitongi. Brought to you by government money.
For what?
Brought to you by government money.
Where? Because I sure didn't get none of that. I had to pay taxes this year. What do you want to talk about?
The last administration got paid. But it's all taxes. Other people's money.
Is today the 15th? What?
They spend so easily when it's other people's money.
36 million easy to pay.
So Navy Week.
Navy Week.
Lock your daughters up.
Oh, man.
I think it wasn't going to be like a full-fledged Navy Week. I think it's just going to be 50 sailors.
Oh.
That's, I think.
But after a tiny little island, that's a lot.
Right.
Downgraded.
9 months later, there'll be a whole bunch of babies.
Yep.
Increase the population.
And I think the Navy versus Army softball game, I believe it's Thursday evening.
So, good morning, Jalofa, all of you out there.
Hey, y'all.
Hello.
So it's a very special week because it's the 125th anniversary of American Samoa being a territory. Yeah, territory. The highlight of Flag Day is Kirikiki and Fautasi. The down. The Kirikitis, Mata Sau'Ai. All these boats as the sun rises in the east with Mata Sau'Ai. So that means Allah is east too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Allah is east too. So they're from boats from the east. Boats from the west, you've got Taima. You've got the lupe that's flying. The flying dove, the lupe lele. From Italy. Paviai is Osa Olatia. I think, well, it's from the Fale of Olatia. You know, Fale Olatia. Yep, home to Senator Tuanaitau. That's the man right there. That's Paviai, that's the man. Oh, yeah? Okay. The Sa Olatia. Yeah. Paviai. Yeah, you know. Yeah. And yeah. Then you've got MTs. There are two MTs, right? Oh, man. Two MTs. then Aeto, then Pai Ulu Po'o, where the graves are, the graveyard.
That's why it's that. Oh.
That's a graveyard. Wonder what the story is behind that. Gotta talk to my boy Voloti. If you're listening, Mr. Malitua, that's what I want to know. You know, who else? Whangasa, the dolphins. Now Mumua. Don't forget the other fish, Ise Ula. A little bit more. Whangatongo, that's the town boat. Those townies, they're pretty good. All of them. All of them are pretty good.
How about, did you guys do Awa?
What is by Ulupo graveyard?
The graveyard?
That's some
And
stuff.
You know what's at the end of the graveyard?
What?
Sugar mamas.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sugar Mamas in the Aua.
They're so good it would wake the dead. That's how good they are.
Take it easy. And then what did I miss? Who did I miss? There's Mata Sawa. So you got, let's go from the east. Mata Sawa, Alao, Whangasa, Whangatongo, Aeto. How can I forget Aeto? OG Aeto. Damn. Yo. And then, who else? You got Whangasan. They come, Bawaiai, Taima, 2 MTs, Lupilele. What's the one that I'm missing?
You already mentioned how low. Boom, boom.
Yup.
Does my tongue have a boat?
My tongue does not have a boat.
No.
What's the one
We have one on the water.
Pretty soon.
Come on, guys. Let's get a boat.
From Sau'Ai, already young.
Hello, Sau'Ai. Sau'Ai podcast page has been compromised. So you can still view some snippets if you search for Sau'Ai podcast. The next best thing is all our past episodes are on the YouTube site. Wow, the tube. You know what I'm saying? On the YouTube to Victor J. Liu. It's there's a gorilla there smoking a pipe, a peace pipe, not a crack pipe, a peace pipe. And there's pictures of candies because I've had a candy problem. I'm diabetic. That's my drug. Candy. You can view past episodes all the way from when we started in October with the Almata, the Congresswoman Almata interview, and some of the local reps that was running for my district, District 15. Manulele, yeah. Is the Manulele's MT, right? Huh? The what?
That was the one for Tashi you forgot to mention.
Is the Magua? No, it's a Matasawa, right?
Oh, yeah.
We started from the east. Yeah. Other than that, but the cricket is off the chains. The cricket, yes.
Oh my God, Saturday, just to say, Saturday I went to pick you up at dialysis, and on the way back, they had the little kids playing cricket.
You know what's happening in American Samoa right now? The little kids cricket league.
Oh, they were so adorable.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And now, cricket being played in the Olympics, at the Junior Olympic.
Yes.
These kids, well, I can only talk for Samoan kids. Give them a football, they'll be in the NFL. Give them a baseball, they'll be in the major leagues. Give them a corned beef sandwich, they'll get gout. We do it all. We do it all. So you put a cricket bat, a British cricket bat in the hands of these kids. Who knows? They might just bring home the gold. Because, that game was introduced to us by those people, the Brits. And thank you for the game, but we're going to take over. Mine as well. Mine as well. Is that you, my Alaska brother? Or here in Samoa? Yo. So, Holy Week. For all of us here that you are out there, that we believe in a superior power, a supreme being, or as we call it in Samoa, or the Sidi Esset. A lot catches by the name God, or Atua, or all that Yahweh, whatever name you call him. This is a special week, as like the week for the other believers, like the Muslims, the Ramadan. And then we have the Christians with Holy Week. And the Buddhists might have something else, which escapes my mind. But we, even though we don't agree with each other's religion, we have to respect each other's religion and the people practicing these religions, because sometimes they get out of hand. But it's hopeless to remind them of that. But it's good for this time, where they've go around, you got the ash on the head at the beginning of the season as a reminder every day. Because that's what happens to us humans. We need to be reminded. We need to be reminded of what's important. So right now, let's segue into this. What is important here in American Samoa is healthcare. Boom, 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 boom. Health care. Sau'Ai. So, so first let me cover LBJ. All right. LBJ, there's a sweet spot in my soul for LBJ. Because before I came to from California, moved my family thousands of miles from California, I had to research because now I was a dialysis patient. And they say, oh, there's a private facility, which is Hope Dialysis, 5 minutes from here. And then I came and then I asked people, what do you like about Hope? And they said, oh, this and that, convenience. And long story short, to this point, when I left Hope, I never went back. Because LBJ has got that sassiness, It's got the jams, it's got that vibe. People tell jokes all the time in the waiting room, even on the chairs, and even the workers. There's personalities there. It's like going to your cousin's house, right? But you get to sleep for 4 or 5 hours, Yeah, it's not depressing. It's not, this is not, it always reminds me that there's always a brand new day, and this is not the end of life situation. Dialysis. Life is what you make it. That's what she says. And dialysis and that CT scan, which have been saving lives, and all these things new. Kudos to you, LBJ, all their facilities and engineering and all the people that work there. You guys are doing great with what you got. And man, being some American Samoa tropical islands, yeah, AC is a big thing. And thank you, Frank Palmer. My man, he's with the facilities. Yeah, he runs that crew, and I love him because he's got the creative mindset. Someone who's able to think outside the box to solve solutions. Someone with experience. Oh yeah, that's right. He was in the Navy. And now being Navy Week, salute to you, Frank Palmer, and all you service people for your service to our country. Not just American Samoa, but the U.S. of A. Kudos to you all. Now, let's go to MedicAid. MedicAid is an agency of the American Samoa government that is designed to offer services and life-saving that to people to run it that make the decisions that are life-saving. People that have no ulterior motive but to save lives. As with any organization, there are processes and access to information and, the whole shebang, as they say. What's been happening in Medicaid lately, there seems to be a breakdown in communication. Communication with the public, communication with LBJ, communication with its own workforce, and communication within government entities like the Office of the Governor, Lieutenant Governor, the offices of whichever office, if it relates to Medicare, Medicaid, that they are involved in. They're also part of CMS, Center for Medicaid, Medicare Services? Services. What else starts with S? And then you have the people that are now running Medicaid. Boss Lady, Director, Luisa Coelho. So here's the thing. There's a little history of what I know of Luisa Coelho. She used to work for Oakland PD and has this cloud solutions company that deals with internet and whatever's on the cloud. Services. Her and her husband, Ken Coelho. With Medicaid, the process, I said, are the processes. But when it's time to make a decision on the fly, you have to be well informed of the rules and regulations. So I'm sure the director is versed with that by now. And I'm sure she's read up on all the rules and all the regulations. And I'm talking specifically about patient referral and Medevac. A lot of people have, okay, these are stories from the people that reached out to Sau'Ai. They want their voices heard. Whether it comes with emotions and feelings and not all truths, but those are the things from their point of view. It's their truth of how they deduced it to that situation and this situation. Some of them have been waiting for months. And I know the LBJ process, if LBJ could get them on a plane because they have the budget to pay for a caregiver and the patient, they would have. But I think one of the problems with the airlines is it's always fully booked. And there are people that travel to and from American Samoa. And if I am correct, the government blocks a chunk of those seats. I'm not sure is the governor's office or government departments that do this, but I'm sure if whatever the situation is, either it's blocked by department. So let's say the Department of Health, they block 6 seats for the next 4 flights if they have a scheduled thing. So they'd be guaranteed 6 flights, 6 seats in the 4 or 5 or 6 consecutive flights, right? Going out. And that's a chunk of money. And so I know from the past administration, they used to do this. So unless something is changed about that, let's go with what that example is. Because this is a brand new administration. The transition period is still hanging over. So let's say those, then when that is exhausted, when the LBJ board, the time they keep the patient there or release them to go home, there's nothing they can do more. But if the patient is somewhat seems going to be critical, they usually keep it there. LBJ is pretty good about that. But the problem is not with LBJ in this process, because it took them a while trying to get them off the island. So it was an availability of flight issue. Yeah. Now, LBJ, in my of what I know is the next step would be, if it's that critical, then go to these guys, Medicaid. Go to Medicaid, and they will refer all the information to Medicaid. Then Medicaid makes the decision on that. Now, in normal processes, they have the screening that's done by telehealth. Okay? That's a process. And the way information is exchanged is between a social worker from the hospital or / board member. I think it's best the social worker, to a Medicaid system, which have social workers that people that have worked in social work that are pretty good about that. And so they run the processes. But the director is the one that makes the final decision. If the director is not available, then it's the deputy that makes the decision. So what if the director is not here and the deputy is busy? Who then makes the decision? Well, I would guess that it goes straight to telehealth. There's a doctor they have there. I think it's Dr. Aina. So she runs that part, I believe. This is according to someone I spoke to at LBJ. So Dr. Aina runs that process. But when you have a critical situation that is considered dire, and the director is not here to make a call, the deputy doesn't want to make a call or is not available, I am not sure. I haven't talked to the deputy. Then who makes the call? Well, in one situation, I think it's Mrs. Ho Chi went to the lieutenant governor's office. And then the lieutenant governor ordered them to work to get this lady off the island. But there were other people that weren't so fortunate. Her name was Desiree. She was born and raised in the village of Pauaiai from the Vele family. Remember that name, because that's the person that died. Because there was a breakdown of the processes. It's a hard thing to take. Losing a loved one because of inconsistencies, incompetence, a breakdown of all the processes and all the things that you set in place, the breakdown of management. Sad. We're not just the statistics. We're regular blood running through the veins people. Medicaid is one of the saving agencies that we have at our disposal. LBJ and Medicaid. LBJ and Medicaid are the two saving graces of this island. The airline doesn't help because it's an airline, it's a commercial airline. It books the flights according to what it can make money of. But this is the government. This is the government for the people, that the people elected. They're supposed to act like the government agency, that we entrusted them with power. There's some good people in this government, especially the career employee peoples, who've waddled through the muck, administration after administration. And there's some bad people too. When someone says to you, oh, I'm not a bad person, that's a bad person. Because the duck quacked. And when the duck quacks, it's a duck. You know? That's the processes breaking down. I understand that the director's been off island 4 or 5 times since January, or since you took the job. That 3-day summit is supposed to explain everything to people. You guys are off your rocker. What are you smoking? 3-day summit? Expect people to know? No. Those mostly healthcare people and some community members. You're not getting your message out. You're not getting your message out. You're not getting your message out. Mrs. Luisa Cuella, this is not personal. I'm going to tell you this. Just a friendly advice. If the job is too much, step down. Step down. Ask for help. That office of yours, from the last person that was there for 11 and a half years, that person ran a tight ship. Ask somebody, anybody of the staff, even people that are not in the clique. And don't tell me there's not a clique. There's always a clique. There's always a clique somewhere. The thing about cliques or subculture, you have the office subculture. They also have their own friendly culture. What you do is, as a managerial person, you make these cultures work. I'm getting accosted off camera from my producers. But you make these things work. And I see the major problem here. Maybe you haven't done any social work that includes healthcare. It's very broad. But at least, have you spent time in the trenches? Have you spent time with the people that are in need? You can just go to the hospital, walk into any ward. They'll let you in because you're a government official and with MedicAid. Probably a bunch of people following you to make sure you see what you need to see, not what you want to see. And then you will see. And then you can question yourself, how can I help make this better for people? How can I help American Samoa thrive on healthcare when it's just LBJ and MedicAid? You know what I'm saying? You know? Sure, your job is hard. But you walked into something it seemed foreign when you walked in, the way that us here, the people, see it. A medical summit, a 3-day medical summit. Inaccessible to the people. Just these consistencies. Step down. There's more than happy. There's people that are well versed in MedicAid and its processes, who's been there for more than 5, more than 7, maybe I think 20 years. Ask somebody. Ask us to help you. Ask the people. There's a Samoan saying that's always been thrown at me in my earlier years. Ele tu va monga pea sisi. What does that mean? can't stand there and not be and try to be a mountain, a one man, one woman operation. No, I think that what the saying is. The photo sessions comes back in July, and I'm sure they're going to have to want all the directors to come through to confirm everybody, because I don't think, there's so many inconsistencies and things that point to self-serving and fraud, because from the very get-go, after the election, you were in charge of the team that went to the transition for MedicAid. You got the job. So you saw MedicAid and you recommended it yourself that you could do the job or something. See, I don't know, because nobody talks to me. It's not like you were not invited before to the show. But here we are. And consider this an open invitation for anybody. You, your spokespeople, these people that keep messaging me about the processes. Please, if I hear that again, I am just going to eat a chicken. One of these chickens that are roaming outside. I've got health issues. I have a heart condition, right? I have a defibrillator in my left of my chest. I am on dialysis. So, I made it a point to know and understand the system that is here before I made that move 2.5, 3 years ago. So I'm well aware of how the process goes, unless you change something. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Two things, LBJ and MedicAid. LBJ had its problems. But, with CEO Scott Anesi there, Mr. Scott Anesi, things have changed. They say change takes time. But according to what Scott Anesi at LBJ is doing, that's like lightning speed compared to how change is around here on these islands in 684. The zip code 96799. What if I need emergency evac out of here? Do I have to qualify for? How severe would my condition be in order for me to be considered for evac? Medevac, that's what they call it. How severe would it be? I'm operating the power allowable by my creator. Yeah. Allowable. You got to feel the Spirit work within you. You got to feel the supernatural whispering to you, do this right thing. Do it for the people. Let me put it this way. Let's say you've never done any social work in healthcare before. Let's say you've never worked with hospitals or, anything related to healthcare. Okay. Then you need to learn fast. But you can't do it on your own. You've got people in there, deputize all of them, help them get into this, and help you see this through. If not, mark my words, these things are going to happen again and again and again. And then come next week, it'll be happening again too. So you have to have some kind of way to figure things out. But the easiest way is Step down. Step down. Are you going to put people through the misery of trying to deal with, trying to get this system together when people are falling like flies? That chapel at the hospital is now has been a morgue because there's so many people dying. So many people dying. Find me at tau. Awa me umele tu mau.
Styles says, morning, bro, Vic. I went to that Medicaid summit on day one, and the director said to all of us in the room that ASG failed to ensure their Fed of 92 million, so only 6 million.
Right. Yeah, so you got the summit, you're talking about that ASG failed, that 92 million, and all Medicaid got was 6 million.
So it seems that the money only matters and not lives worth saving.
Yep, again with the processes. It's like an issue of money. We all knew that before you even thought about it. That's been ongoing. There's not enough money to pay the matching funds. There's not enough money because if American Samoa government had the matching funds, then Medicare would be great. Medicaid would be great. Well, last year, during the third quarter of last year of the last administration, there was a surplus of $36 million. $36 million. So when you say ASG failed and you work for ASG, what are you doing to your boss? You are saying that your boss is ineffective, even though that's probably not what you meant. By saying that the system failed because of not enough money, it's saying to me that you're worried about the money and talking up the money, but not talking about the critical elements of your operation. You see what I'm saying? Step down. I implore you, Mrs. Correa, step down. Send in your resignation. Be amicable. Say, I haven't done the job that's required of me, and I will move on to other ventures. There's a spot for me somewhere. I just have to figure out where, because it's definitely not Medicaid.
Deputy Director for DPS or something. Deputy Commissioner for DPS.
Yeah, Medicaid is the only health insurance in American Samoa.
Yeah.
Yep, you got it. You got it, Aida. Sarah Aida. Da-da-da-da. It's the only. See, I have private insurance. We afforded that because my wife spent more than 20 years with the County of Los Angeles. And we have a policy, a limited policy, because now we moved to international destination. Because it's social medicine here. So operations and orthotics and all the stuff that, wheelchairs and CPAP machines, that's all provided by Medicaid. Those are the benefits. And also with the patient referral, where he needs to go out into either New Zealand or Hawaii that Medicaid has contracts with, then they make the arrangements. So to pay for those things, if people don't have private insurance, Medicaid pays for it. So why are they fighting for more money? Why isn't she lobbying the governor, her boss, for money? Because the boss is busy trying to fill holes all over where the last guy left it. But there's another way of doing it. Yes, you probably do great management work, but what you're missing is the human factor of that. The human factor of that. I know the Kaiser Foundation reaches out and gives millions to people, to organizations that ask them for money. Take a shot. There's the first freebie. Kaiser Foundation. Kaiser built Hawaii Kai. That's why there's a strong Kaiser presence in Honolulu. Maybe you can renege that deal with your skills. The one Sandra King did was for the Alamano Hotel and the couple hospitals, Advent and I believe something else. So you're going to go with that? Then go with that. But the downfall in the money that you were claiming is what, if that is your main concern, then get the hat on and have people write some proposals. There's just a whole thing you could do with it. Lobby the fono. Lobby the fono. Make it a point, because if one day a medevac is needed for one of them, then we'll just say, I'm sorry, we don't have the money to hire a medevac plane, which is like $100,000. We don't have the money. Or for patients that are not too critical, they need to get to Hawaii and have, Hawaiian Air doesn't have seats. Maybe you can negotiate with the departments that do block seats. Interdepartment agency, intergovernment agency department exchange. More than one way to skin a cat. But I am people died because you weren't here. There was no decision to be made. Her name is Desiree. Vele is the maiden last name. I knew her as Desiree Vele. It didn't have to happen like this. Thank you to the Lieutenant Governor's office and the Governor's office for making it happen for the other patients that came to you. That's how bad it is. They had to go to the Governor's office because they were not getting a response from the head of the MedicAid office. How messed up is that? How messed up is that? All you families of Lisa Quayle, you don't be coming for me, yeah? We're all related on this island, yeah. You come at me with something. Don't come at me with your petty mindsets. I don't do petty. I used to be the king of petty. Like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Man, it's important. If you're going to stay in a job and not step down, it's important to take this as a friendly advice. My voice is not my voice. I'm the one with the mouth, but my voice comes from the people. They're suffering. Their plight. Their sorrow. You guys are probably going off island every other week. What are you guys going to do? Go to a seminar? Try to learn your job? Hands on. Hands on. This is a hands-on job. I have vast experience. I have over 10 years experience in social work. It has to do with health care. My wife's father, her mother, and her uncle, rest in peace. I took care of all three of them at the same time. At the same time. You know what that got me? A substance abuse problem. A substance abuse problem. There's three people I was responsible for. All three have passed away. Where there's no suffering. I learned how to deal with HMOs, the health management organizations, the PPOs, the paid provider associations, hospital boards, which is the medical board, and the medical board, patient care, assisted living facilities. And there are all these processes. There's all these processes. You know what these processes do? They protect the bottom line. That's what it all comes down to. Because these processes take out the human factor. That is my understanding. These processes take out the human factor. Okay? Then it just becomes another business deal. You know these processes that take out the human factor? It looks great on paper. Fantastic. A++ performance. Oh, wow. Compared to real life, falling apart. Falling apart. Step down. Come on, step down, 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 down. Yeah. Here's your chance. If you don't jump down, get ready for July. Get ready for July when you go in front of the Fono and the Senate committees. Because they will have a lot of questions. Like I said, people are related on this island. There's a bunch of senators closely related to the people that passed away because of ineffectiveness of MedicAid's performance. Then if it's a money thing, tell them. It's because you guys didn't want to give me more money. You find a way to do it, not like that, because you know what you get? You get thrown out. You need to hire a spokesperson? There's one right here. I could help you in that. But right now, I really need to think. Either step down or make these all right. Or keep soldiering on and get help. Because that's the only way you can go. If you don't, and listen real careful here, if you don't, this is going to happen again and again and again. Now, just kidding about asking me. I don't know if I can help you. There are people there in your office that can help you, that are readily available. Just open the door and walk out. Say, hey, help me with this. If you're brave enough to get your ass on the line, help me with this. Because Sau'Ai is nonstop. There's a lot of things to talk about, my people out there, but this has come across something that I see that can be nipped in the bud, that can be fixed immediately. Immediately. Did I say immediately? Immediately. You know what I'm saying? Immediately, Bombay. It's time to go. Time to go. Time to go. Wu-Tang in the house. Yeah, I usually don't talk like serious talk. But man, come on. Come on. We have one airline. Their seats blocked on the airline. Also I have a couple travel agent friends. Yeah, they still do have those things here in Samoa, in American Samoa, travel agents that know there are seats that are blocked, that are bought in bulk by the government. Yep. For government official business. There's a better way to make this. There's just too much. I know that this is a new government. I know that it's not the old government. But there were some things in the old government that was doing fine. All it needed was an improvement. But then the administration changed. And then people are brought in who don't actually know the magnitude of what they're going to be running, the magnitude of their position and involvement. You know what I'm saying?
Staff says Medicaid director not empowering.
Yeah, empower your staff. Was it 16, 15?
15, yeah.
On critical issues. Everybody in the office should know about 80% of what you know. They should be well versed on the processes and procedures, but also have bonding time to figure out. There's games for that. It's available on the line, on YouTube. You could go for a camp somewhere, the Sadies in town. Do a night sleepover. Go to the pool. You don't drink because you're Mormon, but let them have their fun. Loosen up. Team. You got to build your team, not just at work, but with something like Medicaid. You got to know that you can turn to your left and see someone there who can handle it. Turn to your right and see someone there competent enough to do and make the decisions of what needs to be done, regardless of what the processes are. When it comes down to the nitty-gritty, it's about the call. Who's going to make the call? What is the call? Does the call go through or go against the processes? Of course it's going to. But what is the call going to do? Save lives. That's when saving lives trumps processes, bottom lines. Because we are not stats and data that could be sold and manipulated. Manipulated. Where is that data going? I wonder. For those of you out there, data can be put together and sold off. So companies make their money, sell it off. Don't be afraid of the red tape.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of the red tape. I got it. The red tape is just a tape. Get your scissors, go snap. Be a statesperson. Don't be a manager. I mean manager. He did it to Mexican there. Red tape, cut through it. That's the only way you can get past red tape. Cut through it and find out what's at the other end, on the other side of that tape. Explore. Explore what are the possibilities and what are the consequences. You will never find out unless you try. Push the envelope. Push it forward. Not hold it back. Push it forward. If red tape is what's in your way about regulation, that's what I say about regulation and processes. Push it. Soldier forward. There's people's lives are at stake here. It's not like any other department like Public Works. Oh, I don't think we're going to work on the side of the road today. Yeah, let's schedule that for Thursday. Today, we're just going to kick it and clean around the yard. That's the decision. Today, we're going to kick it and clean around the yard. Because they made a decision of the process and the schedule that they try to keep. Same thing can be applied to Medicare. Have you gone through the critical areas of how would it be deemed critical? How would it be deemed emergency? Is that going to be an issue? Is that going to be the eliminations? So you go through the list and looking at the patient, it pays to go to the hospital and actually look at the patient. Send somebody there. Does it look critical to you? Talk to the nurses and doctors. What's been happening with the patient in the last 24 hours, in the last 72 hours, and in the last week? If the patient's been there for long. If the patient's been there for long, for a week, then ask, how was it before that? How long before, how long up to that week was the patient there? Then you make the call. Okay, this patient has been in the hospital for 3 weeks. And it became something, there was nothing, it was going nowhere. So the doctors might be recommending this and that. They're putting it to social work. Social work's putting it through, probably for travel. And then the travel department gets the okay for the board, then they issue that, whatever that process with the hospital. But at Medicaid, you're supposed to look at all the findings from LBJ. What's this process about? Waiting for New Zealand or Hawaii to approve. They are there. If you have to use the governor's name, call the governor's office. I bet you at 3 a.m. the governor's there and will wake up when his phone rings. Because he's the governor, he's supposed to be available 24/7. So as you. So as the doctors at LBJ. Y'all in healthcare. You the one that makes the decision. You should be accessible 24/7, whether here or abroad or anywhere and everywhere. Because these are the things that you need to. You know what I'm saying? Yellow tape. Yeah, that's right, brother. Cut into that red tape before it becomes yellow tape.
Oh, man.
That's a profession of education talking. My man, Derek. A 3-day seminar is not going to fix it. Nobody understood the 3-day seminar. Even with the video that KVCK has, it's chaos. Chaos. All the BS rolls down the hill. The water flows down the river from the top. So what's it going to be? Number one, you could step down. I'll help you with a resignation letter. It'll be very nice. Of course, you have your people. And forget all that. Have someone come in there and take over. I know, human nature, you got to try, right? The thing now is you got to try. You're not even in your first 6 months, and people are dying. You know what I'm saying? So how many is going to be in 6 months? Are you going to really do something to change it? Get advice from the people, other than the people you hang out with, other than the people y'all campaign with, other than the people that you know, which pretty much almost could be anybody here. But there are those of us who genuinely want to give you advice that would help you. It's called thinking outside the box. It's called a think tank. I have a think tank here that meets every 2 days. You have to explore these different things with different-minded people. And you have to hear people's input and then make your own final decision based on that advice and that counseling. Because the decision you think you might be right might be the worst in the world. Might be right by you according to your processes. But you know what? So, let's get this marijuana legalized and taxed to cover
That don't fix everything.
that money from the revenue of marijuana being legalized here.
If that's the number she's looking for, 92.
That's the number that can help Medicaid out. Mr. Governor, Honorable Pula Nicolau, we've talked about this, and you are willing to support medical marijuana. So I'm going to put it out there for all of you people out there, my people that are listening in, more people that are out there will see this. Help us drive this legalized marijuana to the point where it will be signed and approved by the governor. There's process in place. I know some people. My guy, Yosef Sau'Ai, with Cannabis 684, he's got the education on that. He's got the blueprints to that map. He's well-versed. He's been in the industry for quite some time. He knows the doctors, former senators from Honolulu, lawmakers, and he's well-versed in how these laws are getting signed into law. So that would be, and he knows the history of cannabis, why it was banned. Turns out that's the medical plant. I don't care what anybody says. It got me off 7 drugs that I was on. Medical pharma. I am very pharma injured. And I've learned from my prayers and concentrations to do this, to do that, to do this. And it's all deducive learning. Conducive? Pick a word. And it will solve some of these problems, money problems. Is it going to be that? Will it then, only then, will this problem be solved? I don't think so. This problem can be solved now by innovative thinking, innovative approaches. You know?
Being open to suggestions.
Yep. Accountability. That's right, Styles. Accountability. How many more human lives need to die before the Medicaid director accept accountability? Accountability. ACCOUNT ability. EIE ability. So, you know, that's just my thing. Some of us don't want to get high from marijuana. Some of us just want to get well. But it's one of those plants. You burn it, and it just gets you high. You know what really gets me high? When people burn the Los Lui and the Laulu, when they have the trash, and they pretty much up mad. Drive by them like, slow down, like take a big whiff of that low ulu and low fire, low sului. They're like, whoa, now I have a headache, but I'm loving it. So families are suffering. They have been suffering by the situation of our healthcare. From LBJ and MedicAid are only two things here that ensures that's basically that is the healthcare in American Samoa. Yeah. Marijuana is God's gift to mankind. Yep. Yeah. And not the apple.
No.
That one.
Don't do that. No.
What time is it?
It is now 12.
Just a few people to mention. People that have been great fans of the podcast. My friend Styles Steel Saint from Vailoa, Fatu Sawanga, and the many, Abdel, Sarah Aida. She is a Muslim from Utah. Nah, she's not. Great. And you are all great people. This is not about. I try to think, why am I doing this? Is it through my narcissistic ego? So I thought I got rid of that. No, and then I figure out when these people start contacting me, I really felt something, like I was really sad. Then I got really mad. Then I called my dad. And you know what he said? Yeah, let's talk about kayao. Hi, Fatu. Tayao. What is a tayao? If I were to translate that directly, it's like you people with no mornings. It's like, come on with the no mornings. So what does no morning mean to me? It means you get a little call out and nothing moves. If it's a tayao there, kalangoi ko inga I whinga maro there. Pero ko wanda this tayao. Well, now fighting in tayao. Okoye directors. Some of you directors, man, you guys are doing awesome. Actually, let me rephrase that. Most of you directors are doing awesome. My man at CJ, my man at SC, man. Over at Search and Rescue, DPS, Ta'anga Molingo, Chief Ta'anga Molingo. These are looking up. There's the Chamber of Commerce, the American Samoa Chamber of Commerce, Bruce Illiger. Yep. Kudos on y'all for making this a better place. All the things that people talk crap about, you will find out, and we will find out eventually if it's true or not, if it's just hearsay. Well, there are some people that I just mentioned that people have I've eliminated, went through the process of elimination and try to verify these people. We all have to pull our pants down to go to the bathroom, Number 2. Number 1 for the ladies. And we are all fallible. But the best we can do with the lives that we're given is to do it better and to ease the suffering of the people. In American Samoa. The suffering of the people. It's a big thing. You know, I always talk about church, how there are so many churches. Well, you know, the churches, it seems like our people are good with community. So the church, kudos to the churches for keeping the community. One way or another, everybody will have their moment of realization, and they can go off on their own, and they realize that they have the power to change their situations. But with believing in something, you could either believe in something or fall for anything. Believe in something or fall for anything. That's some stuff. You know? We try to believe in this administration. I know I am doing my very best. I was going to focus on the sports for the kids and promote that. Yeah, but this just keeps knocking at my door. I was really just to focus on the kids, but then people start calling me. People start messaging me. When I'm in the restaurant, they made a point to wait until I'm finished to talk to me. And I feel kind of stupid. I mean, who am I? I'm just a guy with a loud mouth on the internet. Yeah, but, you know, somebody got to say it. You all have the power to pick up the mic and the camera, use your phone, and say something. The more of us there are, the better it is. That means we get the word out faster and more effective. We can fight this. It's called pressure. If there's pressure from the people, the governor will react. If there's pressure from the suffering of the people, and the people who know the suffering of the people that are suffering, then you will get results. Believe me on this.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about writing a petition, or I could just write it to have my social media guy do a petition online, so it will appear during the show or after the show that you guys can sign on, electric signature, so we can submit it to the governor's office. That's the only thing, because administrations, especially elected administrations, they are aware of the voting power, of the people's power, and they come dialing in every 4 years, campaigning, because they want to stay in office, or they offer this, they offer that. Some of them just turns out to be, you know, and like knock knock, it's so hollow. But you know, it's getting better. It's like, okay, 4 months, okay, let's go, okay. But they're still working on it. But MedicAid, it's very crucial, because that is our way out. That is our way to better medical care in cases of dire emergency. Dire, like D-I-R-E, which means dire. Like you just don't die, you're going to die. So, that's all I have to say for now. But I bid you all a great Holy Week, Navy Week, Flag Day, Faukasi, Kilakiki. Kilikiki. Can I say Kilakiki? Kiki. Yeah, look, I'm lang about Sau'Ai. My hat's off to you, of all of us. And whoever wins, wins. We could do this next time, huh? American Samoa, this is your servant, Sau'Ai, a.k.a. Victor Liu. See you again, hopefully Wednesday. Yeah, keep up.